What happens when a hero is mistaken for a zero? When a man saved lives on the battlefield only to have his own dignity attacked in a grocery store checkout line? This is a story about hidden identities and instant judgments. It's about an entitled woman who thought she could destroy a humble cashier for a thrill and a bag of premium coffee. But she had no idea who she was really messing with. This is the moment a simple grocery store confrontation triggers a chain of events that leads to, let's just say, interesting and highly satisfying consequences. The quiet hum of the grocery store was his new white noise. It wasn't the frantic beeping of an OR monitor. It was the gentle scrape of a conveyor belt. For Dr. Arthur Pembroke, 60 years old, this was the soundtrack of his new life. His hands, which had once sutured arteries under the harsh desert sun of Iraq, now carefully scanned cans of soup. They were the same steady hands, just a different kind of healing. He didn't need the money. He needed the noise, the human noise. After his wife Margaret, the love of his life for 35 years, died, the big house they'd shared became a museum of silence. His 3 children called, often. They visited every holiday, but the spaces between their calls and visits were vast and empty. So, Arthur put on a clean shirt. He clipped on a name tag, and he went to work. "See you tomorrow, Doc," an elderly woman said, wheeling her cart away. "Take care, Mrs. Gable. Give my best to your grandson." The next customer, a man with a boisterous Labrador puppy in his cart, stepped up. "Afternoon, Doc. Just the essentials today." Arthur chuckled, scanning dog food. "He's growing fast, isn't he? Fine-looking dog." This was his therapy. The rhythm of conversation, the simple human connections. It kept the loneliness at bay. But the woman behind them in line was a storm cloud in an expensive pantsuit. Her name was Kimberly Briggs, and her patience had run out 5 minutes ago. She tapped a manicured fingernail against the cart handle. Tap, tap, tap. A metronome of impatience. The moment the man with the dog left, she launched her assault. "Finally, are you done with your social hour?" She shoved her cart forward. "I have a real job to get to, unlike some people." Arthur's smile was patient. "I do apologize for the wait. We'll get you through as quickly as possible." "Quickly? You're the slowest cashier I've ever seen." Her eyes scanned him with contempt. They landed on the small, discreet badge on his vest, a simple Iraqi flag. "Veteran." She smirked. "Veteran. You probably need hearing aids turned up loud enough to hear so you can scan faster. All that noise in the desert, right?" Arthur's smile vanished. The professional calm remained, but the barb had found its mark. He began scanning her items. Organic produce. Imported cheeses. 2 bags of premium artisanal coffee beans. He scanned the first bag. Beep. He scanned the second. Beep. "That's it. I saw that." Kimberly's voice was a sharp whip crack. "Saw what, ma'am?" "You double scanned my coffee. You scanned it twice." "I assure you I didn't. You have 2 bags. I scanned each one once." "Don't you lie to me. You think I'm stupid. You probably put the difference into your pocket, trying to make up for your pathetic pension, old man." A voice came from behind her. "Hey, that's enough." It was Sandra, a woman with a kind, watchful face. She'd been observing the entire exchange. Kimberly spun around. "Stay out of this. This doesn't concern you." "It does when you're publicly abusing a man who's just doing his job," Sandra said, her voice steady. "Oh, please. What do you do for a living? Let me guess. A janitor? Some other useless job?" "You have no idea what I do." "I have a real career, a prestigious one, because I'm an important person, so I have better things to do than stand here and watch this failed relic try to rob me." Arthur's voice was low, firm. The voice he used with belligerent patience. "I am not a thief, and my life is far from a failure. We'll see about that. Manager, I want the manager now.
The commotion drew Bob, the store manager. He arrived, flustered. "Arthur, what's going on here?" Kimberly didn't let Arthur speak. "This cashier is a thief. He double-scanned my expensive coffee and then lied about it. I want him fired immediately." Bob looked at Arthur, who shook his head. "Bob, she had 2 bags. I scanned 2, that's all." "Check the receipt," Kimberly demanded. Bob took the receipt. His face fell. "Arthur, it shows 2 charges for black ivory coffee, $98 each." "Yes," Arthur replied, "because she has 2 bags." But when the manager looked, there was only 1 bag on the counter. A cold dread washed over Arthur. "That can't be right. I remember scanning 2 separate bags." The receipt didn't lie, but someone in this scene was lying through their teeth. The evidence was stacked against Arthur, so how could he possibly prove his innocence? Kimberly crossed her arms, triumphant. "See? His memory's shot, probably riddled with dementia from his time in the war or something. He's a liability. Now, are you going to fire him, or do I need to make some calls?" What Bob didn't see, what no one saw in the chaos, was Kimberly's hand as she palmed one of the bags of coffee, slipped it seamlessly into her oversized, expensive handbag. The evidence was gone. The receipt was damning. Bob looked at Arthur, pained. "Arthur, store posse on theft allegations. I'm sorry, I have no choice. I have to suspend you pending an investigation." The words hit Arthur like a physical blow. "Bob, no. You know why I'm here. I need this job." "It's not about the money, I know, but corporate." He gestured helplessly. "Please, just clock out. We will get back to you as soon as we're done with our investigation." The defeat in Arthur's eyes was profound. The lifeline had been severed. He slowly, mechanically unclipped his vest. The weight of the silence waiting for him at home was already crushing. He walked away from the register. A retired surgeon, suspended for allegedly stealing coffee. Sandra found him by the employee lockers. He looked 10 years older. "What she did to you was reprehensible," Sandra said. There was no pity in her voice, only a fierce solidarity. Arthur managed a weak smile. "I know it's just a grocery store, but when my wife passed, this job gave me a purpose. It got me out of the house, made me talk to people." He looked at his hands. "It sounds silly." "Not to me," Sandra said. "Not at all." She walked with Arthur to the parking lot, and just then, Kimberly strutted out of the store. Her groceries were already bagged and in her cart. A smug smile was plastered on her face. She spotted them and couldn't resist. "Gosh, I just want to thank you," she said to Arthur. "Not only did I get the satisfaction of watching you get suspended, but your manager was so embarrassed, he gave me all of this for free." She beamed. Then she leaned in, her voice a venomous whisper. "Which is lucky for me, because if I had to reach into my purse to get my wallet, you might have seen this." As she said it, she dug in her purse for her car keys, and there it was, nestled inside her designer handbag, a single unbagged bag of premium black ivory coffee beans. Sandra's eyes locked onto it. Then she looked at Arthur. The truth passed between them in an instant. The double scan allegation was a lie. Kimberly had stolen the second bag. She had fabricated the entire crisis. They had the truth, but what could they do with it? Kimberly was already leaving, victorious. This is where the story should have ended. But Sandra had a card to play, a card that fell right out of Kimberly's pocket. Kimberly, oblivious, walked away towards the exit. In her smug haste, a business card fluttered from her pocket. Sandra bent down and picked it up. Her eyebrows rose. The card was sleek, expensive. It read, "Kimberly Briggs, Regional Sales Director, Apex Medical Innovations." Sandra looked from the card to Arthur. A plan clicked into place. "I heard the other customers, they called you Doc," she said. Arthur nodded. "A long time ago. Dr. Arthur Pembroke. I was a trauma surgeon. 2 tours in Iraq. It feels like another lifetime." A slow, determined smile spread across Sandra's face. "Dr. Pembroke," she began, her voice now all business, "I would like to discuss a position where your medical expertise is actually valued." A job offer, that's a nice consolation prize, but that's not justice. Justice was waiting in a skyscraper office, and Kimberly was walking right into it.
1 week later, the scene couldn't be more different. Sleek glass, polished steel, the panoramic view from the high-rise office of Apex Medical Innovations was breathtaking. Kimberly Briggs hummed a happy tune as she adjusted her suit jacket. She'd been summoned to the office of the CEO, Dr. Chris Peterson. Finally, she thought, the promotion to Senior VP is mine. She swept into the office, a confident smile on her face. "Chris, so lovely to be called in. I've been eagerly awaiting this discussion, and my answer is a yes, of course." Dr. Chris Peterson was a man with a calm, commanding presence. He didn't smile. Then Kimberly saw her, Sandra, sitting calmly in a guest chair. "You? What are you doing here?" Kimberly's smile faltered. Dr. Peterson spoke. "Kimberly, this is Sandra Williams, our newly appointed VP of Strategic Development." Kimberly's brain short-circuited. "VP, but she's a janitor," Sandra concluded the sentence. Before she could finish, the door opened again, and Dr. Arthur Pembroke walked in. He wore a well-fitted blazer. His posture was straight, his eyes clear and assured. He looked like a distinguished professor, not a disgraced cashier. Kimberly's jaw went slack. "And what is he doing here?" "Hello, Kimberly," Arthur said, his voice calm. Dr. Peterson gestured for Arthur to sit. "I asked Dr. Pembroke to join us." "Doctor!" Kimberly spat the word. "Indeed, Dr. Arthur Pembroke, one of the most respected trauma surgeons of his generation. I've followed his career for years. His work on field triage protocols is still taught." He turned his gaze to Kimberly. It was like ice. "Sandra came to me with a fascinating story. A story about toxic behavior, about public defamation, and about theft." Kimberly's face drained of all color. "That's a lie. She's lying. He's lying. That old man is a cashier, a failed senile—" "Enough." Dr. Peterson's voice cut through her rant. He pressed a button on a remote. A large screen on the wall flickered to life. It showed grainy but clear security footage from the grocery store. It was from an angle Kimberly hadn't noticed. It showed her, clearly, as she shouted for the manager. It showed her hand, sneakily taking the bag of coffee and dropping it in her handbag. The evidence was undeniable. Theft and defamation of a respected member of this community, a decorated veteran and a brilliant doctor, no less, is not the conduct we value at Apex. You are a liability, Kimberly. You're fired, effective immediately. "No! You can't do this!" Kimberly shrieked, jumping to her feet. "I'm the best sales director you have! My numbers! Check my numbers!" "Your numbers are irrelevant. Integrity is our bottom line. Security will escort you out." As if on cue, 2 security officers entered. They took a screaming, protesting, flailing Kimberly by the arms and led her from the office. Her cries faded down the hall. The room was silent again. Dr. Peterson turned to Arthur. "My apologies for that unpleasantness, Arthur, but it brings me to my point. This company supplies medical equipment, but salespeople don't always understand what doctors truly need in a crisis. We need a doctor's eye. Your experience in the field, it's exactly what we've been missing." He slid a contract across the desk. "I'm offering you a part-time role as a senior medical consultant. Your insights would be invaluable." What do you say?" Arthur looked from the contract to Sandra's encouraging smile. He thought of the silent house. Then he thought of operating rooms, of saving lives, of purpose. He picked up the pen. "I say, it would be an honor." That evening, Arthur walked back into his home. The same house, but the silence was different now. It wasn't oppressive. It was peaceful. It was the quiet after a good day's work. On the mantelpiece, next to the photographs of Margaret and their children, he placed a new business card. It was simple, elegant. Dr. Arthur Pembroke, Senior Medical Consultant. He had a new purpose, one that honored his past and utilized the profound skills he'd spent a lifetime building. The path forward isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it winds through the checkout aisle of a grocery store. Sometimes justice wears a cashier's vest before putting on a blazer. And sometimes an act of cruelty in a fluorescent-lit lane can lead you to the new beginning you never knew you were looking for, finally filling the silence with the sound of a future that matters. This is Shadows of Justice. Remember, the true measure of a person is never their job title. If this story of hidden identities and ultimate justice resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-world tales where the underdog wins. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Now we want to hear from you. In the comments, tell us about a time you saw someone completely misjudged. What was the situation and what was the surprising truth you discovered? Let's get a conversation about hidden strength going. Thanks for watching.